Hello, welcome to another Cosmic Circus review. My name is Vin, and today with me is movie reviewer John Dotson.
Hello, good to see you all again.
Today we are talking about Twisters, was just released on Friday, July 19th in the United States. I want to talk a little bit first about the basic story without any spoilers. So, from the Universal Pictures website, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, the Oscar-nominated writer-director of Minari, Twister stars Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glen Powell, and Anthony Ramos as equal forces with opposing motivations, who come together to try to predict and possibly tame the immense power of tornadoes. IMDb adds, a retired tornado chaser meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. So that's it. No spoilers so far. Just the basic story. John, before we get into it, can you tell me what's your history with Twister, the original from '96?
I saw Twisters in 1996. I am that old. I saw it in the theater. I was there opening day. Um, it was in Grapevine, Texas, and it was really cool because, for whatever reason, our theater not only had the producers come there. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I don't know why. We're in Grapevine, Texas. It made no sense. They had storm chasers that were there that talked about facing tornadoes before the movie even started, and they did a presentation showing what it looks like what a wall cloud is. I had no idea what a wall cloud was until that time. And then the movie started, and this is around the same time that Independence Day came out, Men in Black came out. So Twisters followed that example. It was just a very good blockbuster with a lot of heart, great effects, very entertaining, and flying cows. I mean, what else do you want?
And you remember all of this from 28 years ago?
I remember all of it. It's one of those cherished memories I got.
Wow.
I saw Independence Day at the same theater. It was just one of my favorite theaters at the time. It was such a big movie theater that I had a balcony
What?
up top. Yeah, I'm
Like
not
an
playing.
opera or something.
Yeah, it was
What?
huge. It was giant.
Hold on, which
And
theater? This was this like Grapevine Mills?
It was Tinsel time. It was
Okay.
Tinsel Time
Okay.
Grapevine. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, it was a long time ago. I have not been there since.
Since
Like uh,
96.
since '96. I mean, it could be the same awesome theater that it was 30 years ago, but it was terrific back then.
Yeah. What a
Yeah,
memory. Wow. My first theater experience, I think, was probably Toy Story 2. That's the first one I remember. And
I
I was
mean,
just
that's a
amazed.
great one.
Yep, I was amazed because I had Toy Story 1 on VHS. And I was like, and then there's another one in the theaters? And then my TV and the theater and just that connection, it was electric for me. But man, that's incredible. For Twister, the first time I watched Twister was Wednesday. This Wednesday. I watched Twister in the morning, then I went to Twisters in the evening. That's my Twister story.
Yeah. We actually kind of talked about it beforehand, and I think that's amazing that you spent your entire life
Yeah.
avoiding that kind of blockbuster for that many years.
Yeah.
I mean, what rock have you been under that has kept you from the best disaster film ever made?
Right.
Please explain that to us.
I will say too, when I was a kid, I had the little tornado toy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it's a little toy and like you spin it and it creates a little twister inside.
I don't, but go
Oh man.
on.
Okay. Okay. So it was this little itty bitty thing, and like you shake it and the water spins and it creates a twister. And that was branded Twister from the movie.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
So this whole time, for like most of my life, I thought Twister was just the name of the toy. because I had that
Wow.
toy. I did not know there was a movie.
I didn't even know there was a toy. I had no idea. I had no clue.
We need to
So,
put our lives together.
yes, I had no idea.
Yeah, because I'll be
Um,
honest with you, John. I was born in '96, so I was way too young when the movie came out. So, but I grew up in the aftermath of Twister. You know, I grew up in the wake of its destruction, but I wasn't there for
well,
the events.
you see this gray hair that has made a few more gray hair preparing my beard. So thank you for that, Vin. Thank you. Thank you for that. But yes, well, what did you think of the movie overall? What do you think about it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, going into both of these movies, I'll say, because I saw them on the same day. I had no expectations. I thought, to be honest, I thought Twister might be like trash. I'm like, I've never really even cared about. Nobody's ever told me to gotta watch it. I don't know. And I was blown away by the first movie. I
It's
genuinely
great. It's
really liked
great.
it. And going into the second movie, I was like, okay, man, it's like Jurassic World. You know, it's going to be like some kind of remake, reboot, just for cash, whatever. And I was blown away by Twisters too, by
Yeah,
both movies. I thought they were so strong. You can make a case. You can argue which one is better, and both people would be right. Both movies are just. I don't know. I'm amazed because they should not be good movies, but they are.
they're
What do
good.
you think?
Um, so I don't know if you know this because you're still fresh on the heels of discovering Twister, but one reason why that first one is so good is because Michael Crichton wrote that,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the guy who did Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so if you take everything in that movie and just like instead of dinosaurs, you put tornadoes, it's
Pretty much.
almost the same as that, almost not the same, but almost the same movie where there's people trying to discover something magnificent that can also kill you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they did a great job of capturing most of the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Number one, I do think they do it to a fault.
Okay.
At times, there's a little bit of a carbon copy element going on, and I don't know if you read my review. I kind
I
of
did.
compared it to like instead of like the Force Awakens or
Yes.
like instead of like Ghostbusters Afterlife, it kind of does like Back to the Future Part Two or Home Alone Lost in New York, where it's mostly the same movie, but they're trying to do it better. They're trying at times. Like, and we're not in spoilers yet, but like the opening scene,
Mm-hmm.
I think the opening scene
Mm-hmm.
is way better than number one. Way better. And
I want to add two things real quick. One, you're talking about the people behind the movie, right?
yeah,
So when
right.
I was watching it, I saw his name, Jurassic Park guy, got it. But I also
Yeah,
saw Steven Spielberg in the first movie.
yeah.
And
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 one entertainment.
I think part of the magic of both Twister and Jurassic Park is that human cast and the magic of you're following these humans. You fall in love with them and you're worried about them and their chemistry and their dynamics, and they're each so memorable. They're more memorable than the dinosaurs, or they're more memorable than the Twister. You care about the
They
human.
are.
And
They
I think
are.
that Spielberg magic is part of what made the first Twister work. And I think they really tried to make that work with Twisters. I don't think the chemistry works as well in Twisters, but they really tried to recapture it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, number one, like, and I don't know if you noticed in number one, but like another Spielberg like influence, divorce. There was
The
a
what?
divorce on divorce.
Oh
Divorce.
yeah.
Almost every Spielberg property has some kind of element of a breakup or a divorce involved. Number one had that. Number two, it's like we're not going to focus on a divorce. We're just going to make everybody sexy. That's it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of what they went for. Like Glen Powell
He
and
smiles the whole movie. His acting is just smiling, and he's happy smiling, he's sad smiling, but he's smiling, and we liked it the whole movie.
I'm in love with them. You know,
Yeah,
I'll
Orville
admit it.
is,
I'll
is
admit it.
amazing.
There's a lot to love. A
I
lot to
almost feel
love.
like if they were to make, if they were to do Barbie in the next few years, he would have been the new Ken instead of
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling. You know,
absolutely,
he just has
absolutely.
somehow he just has that charm. And Daisy Edgar-Jones, I was new to her. I think this is my first time seeing her, and I thought she was pretty good. Not, I don't know. A lot of the movie still feels like, look how pretty they are, but she really, you can feel her trauma, and you can feel her intelligence, and I was pretty happy with both of them.
Yeah, that was one thing I was gonna add. And like I kind of make a joke. Like they're just people that they're more hot, but a common element, even in number 1 and 2, is the trauma angle. You know, like what's her name? Helen Hunt.
Mhm.
Helen Hunt, her dad died, and most of the film
In the first movie.
she's yeah. The first film she's like struggling, trying to like make things right because her father died. In this one, it's kind of the same, but she's also trying to overcome her fear
Mhm.
of being in front of it again. And I dig that. And I think in some regard, this one does it better
Yeah.
than the first one did, personally. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I feel.
Mhm. So I want to add for everyone watching, I want to add. So John wrote a review for the website, and he did a phenomenal, fantastic job, almost beat for beat, breaking down what's the same, what's different, what's better, what's worse. His review is a fantastic comparison of Twister and Twisters. So if you haven't read it yet, go read his review because he did a fantastic job of it.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Really, really good. Because I watched both on the same day, so all these thoughts were in my head. Also, I imagine for a lot of people, my generation, they also have a similar experience of watching the two movies probably this week. And so a review like John's would really help separate and compare them because you just did fantastic. And I think the first movie has the team dynamic, which is much better. When you have I don't okay, spoilers for the first movie. When you have Aunt Meg, remember her? You have Aunt Meg and they all go to her house and they hang out, they have a great time, and then the house gets destroyed later and you feel that pain. You feel the love for Aunt Meg, you feel the love for the house, and then you feel the devastation when the house is destroyed. The second movie, I feel, doesn't have a scene like that, and it doesn't have any kind of chemistry like that either. But the second movie, I think there are some really spectacular, big scenes that I don't think the first movie did. So I really think both of them together are really strong. And I liked you kind of said it as a negative, but I really liked the parallels. You're talking about Star Wars, and I liked it where the second movie kind of mirrors the first movie, where it feels familiar. You're like, yeah, I'm back in this universe. Yeah, it's Twister again, but I liked that it was still different, like another story in the same universe. I liked the similarities actually.
I don't think it's a negative. It's
Mhm.
just kind of like a warning that I'm giving that you like, because of so many experiences it, they need to be aware. It's not different. It's
Yeah,
not a different like it's mostly the same story. It's mostly a rehash. It's like you're getting
yeah,
the same rhythm that you got before. They're trying to do it better. Not all the time. They're not succeeding at every corner, but they're trying to do it better. That's why I made a Back to the Future Part Two comparison,
yeah,
because Back to the Future Part Two is basically number one. It's just like they're doing the same thing, but they're like remixing it in different areas. They're like doing like instead of like him skateboarding, he's like on like
the hoverboard.
a hoverboard. Yeah, like it's the same thing. It's just they're trying to top it. They're
Yeah,
trying to one up
yeah,
what they did before. Like the first, like spoiler here. Like the first movie, her dad dies. In this movie, everybody dies.
yeah,
It's like one of and I gotta. You want to go into spoilers?
yeah. So
Here,
spoilers,
okay.
full spoilers for Twisters going forward.
Yeah, full spoilers for starting now. Um, and I think it's the gutsiest beginning I've seen in a movie in a long time, where they introduce all these character dynamics. It's Am I wrong, or was that Sabrina? the teenage witch. Was that her?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What's her name? Kiernan Shipka, I think.
Yes,
Right?
kills her like right away. Just kills everybody
Yeah.
in the first 5 minutes, and then it goes quiet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
It almost was like Avengers Endgame, where like, and then 5 years later.
yeah,
It really felt like the same kind of experience.
right at the start, they're trying to top it, and like I said, I don't think it's completely a negative. It's just something that people need to keep in mind.
Mhm.
That you're going in there, you're not getting Diet Dr. Pepper, you're getting full blown Dr. Pepper, and it's probably got some alcohol in it now, or maybe some pop rocks,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
it's still Dr. Pepper, you know?
Yeah. Man, I loved that opening scene so much. I was just blown away by it. And really, that opening scene, it really captured what I loved about the first movie. I was talking about the team dynamics, I was talking about the chemistry, and that group who all die, that group had that spark. They had that chemistry. And what I didn't like about this movie, The Twisters, was that
Yeah.
when we meet the new teams later there's two teams, and I didn't feel that chemistry with either of them. I only felt it with the first team. These later teams, I didn't feel it again, and that kind of disappointed me.
I think it was a mistake to, I mean, I know why they did it,
Mhm.
but they focused on, like, in the first movie, you have the Dr. Jonas Miller group, and then you have Bill and Joe's group.
Mhm.
While in this movie, we start out like after the 5 year wait. We start out with the Jonas Miller crew, who are not likable. They're not very. There's nothing warm about these people. But then you go and look at Glen Powell,
Mhm.
Tyler, his crew. They're fun. They're entertaining. They're over the top. They're
Yeah.
trying to wrangle. They're trying to wrangle tornadoes. They're That's the crew we should have been a part of. But because it starts on such a cold note on the other team, I think that's what makes it feel less tangible the way you
Okay.
did in the other one.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. Maybe I'm
It
wrong.
does.
I don't know.
I think it makes sense. And actually, talking about Tyler's team, you remember there's the girl with the drone?
I do. I do. Yes.
So
It's crazy.
when I was watching the first movie, my my first thought about that movie was, okay, so they have these little sensors. They need to put the sensors in the tornado, and unfortunately, they have to drive into the tornado to make this happen, and putting the humans in danger. So then I thought, well, what if they have, like, nowadays we could do a little robot, like a little drone, who could drive into the tornado and release the sensors. And I thought, surely this new movie will do this. And in this new movie, we have a drone girl, but
No.
they don't send a robot into the twister to release the things. Again, we have to have humans drive into it to release. And I was just wondering, why? Why? We have all these incredible robots. We have the spot, the Boston Dynamics. We have all these incredible war, every kind of terrain. Why couldn't we have a robot go into the twister, release the stuff, and save Kate, save Daisy Edgar-Jones?
I mean, that probably would have been a better idea. But I did appreciate the fact, because in my head I was like, "Oh, please don't tell me you're just about to put this on the road and like without anything holding it down."
Yes.
Because that was the one thing I was thinking, because I was like, that would mean there has been no growth
Mhm.
in knowledge since the first and the second one, and they did that. They
Yeah.
put it in the road, and they had an anchor. I also I think it kind of makes up for it by having Tyler have a vehicle that can dig into the ground.
Mhm.
And dude, it's brilliant. It's such a fun. I
Yeah.
don't believe it. I don't believe it works, but I still dig it and appreciate the concept.
Yeah.
So I do think they tried.
Yeah.
Would it have been better if they had a drone that could fly into it? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, are you not entertained? I mean,
Yeah,
look,
right.
look at it, you know.
Yeah. But John,
Um,
I think maybe they're saving this idea. Maybe they had the idea too. Maybe they're saving it for Twister 3. Twister 3 with the AI drones.
if I may touch on one thing,
Mhm.
you brought up something a while back ago, and I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
why it didn't work. You brought up the fact that it doesn't do the emotional
Mhm.
hook as well in the third act, because like in the original, the third act was, you know, they're at a drive-in theater,
That's right. They're watching The
and
Shining.
yeah, they're watching The Shining. Things go terribly wrong, and the tornado moves on to Meg's house.
Mhm.
The Meg or Peg? I
Meg,
can't remember.
Aunt Meg.
Yeah, at Meg's house. That was the emotional core of the film. I do also think another thing that benefited the first one was Dusty, and that was
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I wrote about this in a different article. I don't know if you read movies we texted about at all either,
No,
but
I didn't see your article there. Yeah, go on.
I wrote about on there about the fact that he in that film he's goofy all through. Like he's funny, he's like the clown, and the minute that he gets serious, that his emotional state changes, we feel it.
Yeah.
Like it's in us because this guy who's all airing and free and wild and just funny, all of a sudden he's not.
Mhm.
And because he changes personalities, we as the audience all of a sudden go, okay, this has got bad because Dusty is like not he's not laughing anymore. He's not making any jokes. He's serious. So we're
Yeah.
serious. And I don't think we have a character like that in the new one that kind of like makes it clear that the stakes have changed.
Yeah. And I think there was potential for that on Tyler's team because he has a lot of like kind of comic relief characters, I guess. But
But they're all of them.
yeah,
Everybody is Philip Seymour Hoffman
yeah.
on that team. They don't have very many different personalities. It's like a crew full of Dusties.
And the British guy.
And the British guy, yeah,
Yeah.
and the British guy.
And when I was watching him, I recognized him from The Crown, and he looks so much older here than he does in The Crown. It was almost like he aged in real time from the
Yeah,
1950s. He looks so much older, but man. One thing I wanted to add that we didn't mention, I really liked the music of this movie. And I was checking the score is I think online for purchase now, maybe. On YouTube, they just put up I think 2 tracks just today, and I listened again. Oh, it's great. With there's strings that sound like it's like the spinning kind of, and then there's like the piano, it's like rain, and there's the timpani like thunder. Like it really, the score I kind of captures the experience of the storm. And when I was in the theater, I really liked the music. Benjamin Wallfish, really great score on this one.
I don't think it's as good as the first. Personally, like the first one, like because like you can feel the
Okay.
symphony in the first one, you know.
Yeah.
In the new one, it did not hit me as hard
Okay.
as I feel like that first score from Twisters did. Um, However, I know there's another point I think you and I disagree on that
Mhm,
I want to bring up.
mhm.
I think you and I also disagree about the legacy angle
Okay. Yeah.
of the new one. And you know, I said in my review that I enjoyed the fact that nobody
Mhm.
is related to anyone in this film. And I think you disagree with that, and I'm curious why.
That's right. I mean, it's not like a strong disagreement, but I
Yeah.
really, I really was kind of like, again, I watched these in the same day, but I was really kind of itching for some connection. So the first movie is all about Bill Paxton, and he has this fiance, but then at the end, he very dramatic. He leaves the fiance and he gets together with his ex-wife, Helen Hunt's Joe, and really that's the emotional core of the first movie. So then when we start this movie and we meet this girl who has the same talent that Bill Paxton had,
Right, right.
and she's about the same age that she would have been in real time. And I was like,
Yeah.
so she's the daughter because she's in the same state, I think, Oklahoma. And that movie had Dorothy. This has Dorothy 5. And I'm like, okay, so it's all the same connections, and we're just continuing with her. And then they don't connect it back.
They don't connect it. No, they don't.
And I
They
think,
don't.
I think it's okay that they don't. Like I said, it's like another chapter in this universe, not necessarily the same story. But I don't know. Maybe it's the Star Wars in me. I would have liked to see the new generations carry it on, I guess.
Yeah, but I love that fact because like it's like you can feel that they're out there.
Yeah.
Bill and Joe are living somewhere. And I don't know if you noticed, but the movie the movie toys with that expectation.
Yes.
Like they yeah, because they're like they want her to be related. Let's mess with them. So
Yeah.
she goes all the way home, and you think that it's gonna be like a Nick Fury moment,
Yes.
and the mom is in the shadows, and it's just a random mom. It's
Yeah.
not like anybody at all. And I was like, yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Do not give me anybody. I don't want anybody related to anybody. Keep them out of here. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Okay, John, let me say this. So when I was watching the
Okay.
movie, that's what I was expecting. That's what I was looking for. But I think it does play better because the mom is a new character. So that means we're not focusing on the celebrity aspect of Helen Hunt
Right.
Charity. Instead, we
Right.
get to meet her as just Kate's mom, and we get to see her new point of view and her new personality. And so I think you've changed my mind on that. And second, changed my mind because like I said, if it was the mom coming back, it would be all about like, look at her, she's back, and they would have done her hair the same way, she would be dressing the same way. It would
Yes.
be just like the Star Wars movies, where it's Han
Right.
Solo being the same Han Solo from 1977.
Exactly.
And you're like, what was she just in like cryo sleep for 30 years and nothing changed? So I understand why it would have been weaker. It would be weaker if they did that. But I guess it was still my expectation somehow to get some connection. But I
Oh
maybe
no, I get it. I get it.
right.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And honestly, like I had that too. Like I mean, I would have loved to get like Helen Hunt for a minute, or even do you watch Succession?
I haven't seen it yet. I need to.
So like one of the guys that was a chaser
Mhm.
is in Succession. I would even love that guy. Just some random like guy from the first who was on Bill and Joe's team. That would have been fine. But I give them credit for not,
Yeah.
is what I mean. Like they could have used that to their advantage. It would have been a very easy manipulative thing to do story wise, and they did not go that route. And I was like, good for you.
Right.
Good for you, movie.
Yeah.
Good for you. Thank you for that. So,
One more thing I want to mention from earlier. We were talking about the movie theater scene, right? You were talking about the movie theater scene in the original, but there's a movie theater scene in this one too. And I think that adds to what you're saying about it being whether it's like a sequel or a remake. Because originally, I was looking at the history. Originally, this movie was pitched as a remake. It was going to be a modern remake of that. And then they decided to connect it as like more like a sequel.
and it makes sense. If you look at it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It
What do you
seems
think
like a
about that
remake.
decision? Should they have just said this is Twister 2024 remake, or do you like the fact that it's kind of a standalone sequel?
Well, I mean, now that I know it was a remake, the rehash nature of it makes a little more sense. Um, I don't know. It would be a very difficult film to remake.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because like it's like
Yeah,
when you have
they've essentially done it. They essentially did it, right?
yeah, I mean, well, they did, yeah, they did. But like, but doing it straight, like a
No.
straightforward remake, I don't think there's a place for it. And it might work. It might work. They did it for Karate Kid. You know, they've done it for a lot of films.
Mhm.
I don't really enjoy that, but it might have worked. I don't know. I got such a love for Twisters, like I said, like from my memory. Oh, and I didn't even tell you, I brought my mom to the film.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I brought my mom to the film. Like we went 30 years ago, and we came back. It's such a sentimental property, I think, to a lot of people, no matter how silly it is. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's hard. That's a very hard question to answer.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
For me being so new to it, like I said, I really liked the parallels, but I also really liked the differences. I actually, being so new to it, I really enjoyed pointing out all the similarities, which
Yeah,
your review does fantastically also.
thank you
I
so
really liked,
much.
like, almost like a, I don't know, like an Easter egg hunt, trying to find, oh, that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. Like in the first movie, they're in a theater and they're watching The Shining, or it's a drive-in theater. In this movie, they're watching Frankenstein, right?
Well, yeah, there's a little connection there,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I would almost connect them more to the rodeo.
Okay.
Because like it's at nighttime, and that's like the danger moment. Like you're at a rodeo, and
Okay.
all these people are around, and sirens are blaring. We must protect everybody, and and it's not as good as the first. I think that Shining scene plays way better
Okay.
than it does the rodeo. But I do agree that it does kind of pay homage.
Mhm.
The movie theater part does pay homage to number one.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a number of homages like that. But I wanted to talk about, before we go, I wanted to talk about the movie theater, or the rodeo, because I thought the rodeo scene, and that goes into the hotel scene, that goes into, I think, the swimming pool scene. That sequence was so big, but I really liked it. I really liked how big and crazy it was, and how dramatic it is. And even how that calls back to the beginning of Twisters.
It does, it does.
And I thought that was, maybe you don't like it as much as the first movie, but I still thought it was spectacular. I thought it was kind of the second highlight of the movie, after the opening and then that scene together. I was like, okay, this is a good movie. This is a really good movie.
It's a mixed bag for me,
Mhm.
mainly because Jan Devon, or is it Jan Devon, the guy who did the first one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Um,
Jan de Bont, I think.
Jan Devon, okay. Um, he had a way of shooting like action
Okay.
that I feel is like not present in number two. And there's parts of that scene at the rodeo where I was like, can you just back that camera up? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I want to see what's going on.
Mhm.
Please. Like there's like one part where they're in the pool and there's like something falls in there and like people are trying not to die. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so up close. I'm like, who's about to die right now?
Mhm.
What's going on? And then you finally figure it out, and it is chaotic, and it does work a little bit.
Mhm. Like the
But
claustrophobia, right?
yeah, it does work a little bit. But the way number one did it, like, they're in that warehouse, and like you see everybody ducking down, and then like that metal thing flies through, cuts
Yeah.
that guy's forehead. It's
Yeah.
just so much better coverage in number one that I was longing for in this one. But like I said, it's still, for it being a sequel, they did great. Like, I mean, if you had to do a number two, I'm grateful you did it this way. And I don't think I could have done it better. So, yeah,
Are you going to direct movies now?
absolutely.
Let's
I'm
go,
the
John.
next,
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm the next Chris Stuckman. Just wait.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll team up and we'll do Twister 3. And
Right.
we'll do the AI robot I did.
And we're going to make the same exact movie as number two.
Of course.
Not number one, as number two.
Of course. All right, man. This has been a blast. I loved Twister. I love Twisters, and I love talking to you about it, man. This has been wonderful.
Thank you for joining me in this review and for having me along. And maybe we'll see something else
Absolutely.
soon.
Absolutely. And
Um,
one more. Thank you to everyone watching. Remember, if you liked this review, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought about Twisters. Let us know what you thought about Twister. Let us know what you think about our potential ideas for Twister 3. Please contact Hollywood. Let us know. I'm Vin. You can find me on Twitter at Vin Writes Words.
I am John, and you can find me at John Movie Watch on Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days.
With Twitters.
Yep.
Be sure
Twitters.
Be sure to follow thecosmiccircus.com on Twitter. Twitter's X at My Cosmic Circus, where you can find more reviews, articles, editorials, and opinions like the one you just watched and John's fantastic piece. Also, be on the lookout for Brian's Twisters review. Our friend Brian Kitson just tried the Screen X experience, and boy, he has some stories. So I can't wait to see what he writes. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the movie. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.